Give me a D and a G. It's the Dawg and Gus Show. It's the Dawg and Gus Show.
Welcome to the Dawg and Gus Show.
Now on Be Kind Radio.
Yes, sir.
What have we got going on, my man?
We're going to chat with Mr. Jay Morris.
The legend himself. What's
Yes,
up, Jay
sir.
Morris?
Hey, well, you two are legends. What are you talking about? What's going on here? I'm just on your show right now.
Well, for the moment, we'll be the legends, but you are a legend. Come on, Jay.
I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
Ottawa born, Ottawa raised. Now you're an author too. Like I read your kids' book to my kids all the time. It's great.
Do you? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Do they stay awake or do they fall asleep? What's going on?
No, they're just gonna stay awake, bro. They're just not. They're not.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the book. It's more who they are, you know?
I tell my kids go to bed all the time. It takes forever. You know?
That's crazy. It's a challenge, man. It's great, though. But, so last time you were here was 2024. If you had to describe the last 2 years of your life in one word, what is it?
Jeez, last 2 years of my life in one word. That's a great answer. New path. I don't know if that's 2 words, but yeah, a new path, essentially. For me, obviously, you talked about the children's book, so sort of within that realm, it's been jumping into the children's lane of music and book writing. I also have, my 3rd child, who just, is 2 now, so that's happened in that time frame. A lot has happened, and maybe the one word is success, because I've been good at it. So yeah.
That's great, man.
And we're happy for it.
Yeah.
And what's the biggest thing that's happened since our first conversation that you didn't see coming?
Your background here, definitely. Woo. The last time we talked, it wasn't like this,
Yeah, we put a little purple in just for essence.
Yeah, I like it. I like the backdrop. Everything's proper. But yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, a lot has happened in the last little while since we've chopped it up. Obviously more touring, getting on the road. I'm going to Scotland coming up. I don't know when this is going to drop on the internet for the people, but I'm going to Scotland September 1st to 6th. Stuff like that's happening. I just got back from New York doing, podcasts out there, shooting some music videos, recording a song with a really, really dope legend from Boston who came to New York to do the recording session. So there's going to be more music on the way. And yeah, I'm just excited for what's been happening and is continuing to happen.
Yeah, I love that for you, man. We're going to get into that for sure. We're going to ask you about that. But when you listen back to the guy, when we sat 2 years ago, do you feel like the same artist, or are you growing exponentially since then, or how's it going?
Yeah, I think every time I do something, I'm growing, I'm going to grow after this podcast. Some people, they say when you get older, you start to shrink. I think I just continue to grow.
Attaboy.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of growth. I think I've learned a lot more now. As you get older, you start to really reflect on the things that you didn't know before. I don't know if that happens. I'm not saying you guys are old, but
we're old. Yeah.
Does it happen to you too?
You and I are kind of similar in age, but the dog is, he's on the back 9.
When I start getting some grays, I might, I don't know about pink, but I might, have to dial 1, 2 as well,
Yeah, dial it in, man. But this, buddy, listen, I'll tell you, when he has the color, we're like a color in his beard.
Right.
The people that notice it, he gets more attention than you could ever imagine. Like right away when we walked in last night, he was getting hit on. So it was great to see. It was great to see.
Right.
So.
I need to pick up some tips from you. I don't know if I got to let the beard grow.
Do not. You do not. You have the presence. I have to make my presence.
Stop it. Appreciate you.
Yeah. The last time we talked about an artist possibly breaking through here in Ottawa, is there anybody on your radar that you think may be able to do that?
I mean, I think there's artists doing that. Knight Lavelle is one artist, who's doing really well, and representing Ottawa. And then there's artists, that we want to win that are still doing well, but, we would love for them to represent across the world. I'll put myself on that list. But aside from that, City Fidelia, shout out to the mayor. And, Linda Sun's another great artist who we're actually have at Cranium Festival this year. Yeah, we could go on. There's lots of artists to big up, but definitely I think we're a lot closer than we were maybe even 2 years ago, just in terms of the opportunities that are coming for certain artists.
I would agree. And I think that you're a big part of that with the Cranium Festival too. So that's awesome. What's something you believed about the music business 2 years ago that you don't believe anymore?
That grants are like the welfare system for music in Canada. I used to really believe that, I used to wholeheartedly not want to apply for grants because I felt like if you had to get a grant for your music that you weren't really doing it. It's like, that support, that crutch for your music career. And I've changed that mentality. And since changing that mentality, I've gotten some more money. So, I think that's something that's changed for me, is what I thought grants were really like, and realized how great they are, and how much, how lucky we are to have systems like this in Canada that you can apply for. And if you've, built enough of a catalog and a resume in this music industry, it benefits you for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And it's getting tougher and tougher because people are figuring it out. So,
yeah.
So you performed at City Folk Fest 2025. And what did getting on a
Seems so
major
long
hometown
ago.
festival? Yeah, it's like last year.
Years ago.
Yeah. What did that mean to you to hit like a major festival in your hometown?
Yeah, that's huge. It's not quite a Blues Fest stage yet, although I've performed on the Blues Fest stage before, just never, an actual booking there. But, they City Folk and Blues Fest are one essentially, right? So to even get that nod, from City Folk to be able to touch the stage was, it shows, that the work you put in gets recognized. So that was dope to have happen. I would have loved to be, just putting it out there for whoever from Blues Fest is watching. Would have loved to be on the Blues Fest stage this year, but it didn't happen. But it's okay. We're going to continue to work. And, I say the same thing to artists that apply for Cranium Festival, right? It's like, if you don't get it this year, you don't get it next year. It doesn't mean to not keep applying, right? Or not keep doing what you're doing. Like, it doesn't mean that you're not talented. There's only a certain amount of spots that can actually be booked. So, I ain't mad at Blues Fest yet, So,
But watch out. Watch out. Was there a moment during that City Folk set that you looked around and thought, I've been working toward this for a long time, and kind of enjoyed the moment?
Yeah. Like, I love now. So I've performed, for years, over 2 decades now. And, typically, and I love performing with just a DJ, but sometimes to elevate up your performance experience, for the audience and for myself, I love to rock with a band. So it was dope to be able to have my band, on the stage at a place like City Folk, and look into the crowd and see people, there for me as an artist, was dope to see, and to meet new fans, and just have that sort of experience with my team, and be there, at a big festival like that, trailer with your name on it. They even had a shower in the trailer. It was that great.
What?
I didn't use it, but I was like, oh, moving up here, So that was dope to just have that respect and be treated like the artist that I deserve to be treated like.
Now you're in an interesting position where you're simultaneously an artist and one of the people that's creating opportunities for other artists. Is it hard to put Jay Morris first?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is, and a lot of times I maybe push other artists more than I should, in the sense of I should be promoting myself as an artist. But I'm happy to do that. I think it's important for us as artists to pass on knowledge to the next generation, right? To artists that are maybe even older, like, just to pass on the information that some may not have. And so, being on the side of, Cranium, I learn a lot. Going to conferences and showcases, I'm able to take in a lot of information. And, if I can pass it on to somebody else and they can make a difference for someone else, and, I think I've done my job. But yeah, I definitely am lacking in the world of how much I could put into Jay Morris if I wasn't doing these other things, But I think it works hand in hand. Like, I get put in the right rooms, when I'm doing what I'm doing, maybe giving back is what I could say. I get put in the right rooms, and then, sometimes some great opportunities come from that as well. So
yeah, it kind of leads into the question where, like, as a MC, street cred is such a thing, and you have a lot of that here, obviously. But do you ever worry that people know Jay Morris, the community builder, so well that they forget just how good you are as an MC? Like, or does it motivate you to do better work? I'm interested to know that. Yeah,
well, I've had people say they don't like what I do musically, so I don't know. I think it's. Yeah, I appreciate you. Hey, you can't please everybody.
Fair.
I think people may overlook that, and I'm okay with that, though. Again, it's like, I hosted a showcase the other night for a live accelerator program that I'm running. And, at the showcase, the whole time I was on stage, I purposely didn't mention who I was, because it wasn't about me, being on stage. It wasn't that I'm a horrible host. I know how to host and you should introduce yourself. But I started off, with the artists in mind, and not it being about me. And I purposely did it that night that way. And so I think it's okay if people overlook, the the music side of it because I bring so many different skills to the plate, and maybe music's not always the only thing that I'm great at, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Your newer music is being increasingly reflective. Now, does fatherhood, your legacy, getting older, does that kind of impact how you write and how you think about the music scene or music as well?
Yeah. Definitely. I think like my oldest, she's 15 now, and when I first had my daughter, I was like, I got to change things up in my music, but it never really happened right away. But as she got older, she literally had a conversation with me one day, and she forgets that she said this to me now that she's older, but she said, "Dad, can you make music without any cursing in it?" And I was like, like, whoa, I've never really thought about it like that,
Yeah.
And so the next album that I did, which is called On the Spot, it's available on jmorrisnow.com as well. When I did that album with Quest, who produced the whole project, I kept that in mind the whole time. So every song on that project is clean. I'm on my Will Smith vibes, without no cursing on there. But then, I've made music since that has, maybe some profanity in it or whatever you want to call it, or things maybe that, you don't want kids to necessarily listen to. But I feel like I can have different music out there, and so I got that kind of music. But then you can listen to some conscious music where I'm not, maybe talking about certain things you don't want to hear or want your kids to hear. And then I'm also making children's albums, telling kids to brush their teeth. So I think you can do it all, and it's been great sort of dabbling in all of that. And now that I have kids, 3 kids to be exact, 15, 4, and 2, it's like, all right, now I really got to focus on putting out positive things for these kids. And I want to get more involved in like doing school presentations and, book readings and stuff like that. So as much as I can have different kind of music, I got to be careful about what I'm putting in my music now too,
Yeah, fair. It's true. And you've been making hip hop for a bit of time, right? Like a long time. So
before they even had microphones.
No. But like, you know what I mean? You have experience. You've seen a lot. Like, so you've watched several generations come and go. Like, what keeps what keeps Jay Morris hungry?
It's knowing what my purpose is. You know what I mean? Like, I know I was put on this earth to do exactly what we've been talking about. And I've always envisioned it, and it's, coming to life more and more every day. So I think just knowing, like, it's like if you wake up every day and don't have a purpose, are you really living? And so that was pretty deep. Eh?
Yeah.
We can stop. Sorry to do that here in the morning like that. But it's just living with a purpose that keeps me going, and seeing the positive effects that it's having on the community. Being able like even when I was doing radio, I used to love playing artist's song for the first time on the radio. And being like, for them, that person that did that, like I remember people recording videos and like, my song on the radio, it's the first time I'm ever, and like that exciting moment for them, and to be able to be part of that. Like, I've already done my job, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm not ready to go yet, but I've done some great things for artists for their first times or just helping their careers out. So it's rewarding,
Very. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely, it is.
A great outlook.
Yeah. Jay, at this time in your life, what matters more? Streams, a packed room, critical respect, or having somebody tell you that a song actually affected them?
The last one.
Mm-hmm.
The last one more than anything, yeah. I think I've had those moments, where people will come up and say, "Oh, your music has changed my life," and give me the reasons why it's changed their life. And, it's not by the thousands yet, which I know it will be one day, but it's enough that, like, if you, I think it's been said before, if you could, and I think it's maybe Tupac, I'm quoting here, but don't give me, maybe I'm wrong on it, but if you could spark the mind of, and I'm not, might even be butchering this, but if you can spark the mind of an individual to do something right in life, then you've already made a difference just off that one person, right? Because that'll spread and keep going. So if I can, change the life of one person, then, again, I've done my job. I think, the reason I'm here is to do those kind of things. So, and it's happened more than once. So done my job a few times. Might retire soon, but not yet,
Yeah.
Not yet.
No, you won't retire. You're not
not ready to go yet.
Yeah, because you're not doing very much these days. You might as well retire.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's in his prime. He's in his prime.
Yeah, I'm just getting started.
He's just getting going.
I want to know when he sleeps.
Yeah. I did earlier. Actually, today I woke up at like 3 a.m, stayed up for a few hours, went back to sleep. So, a little bit of sleep here and there. And, when I am awake, I'm working, and when I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about working. So
Yeah.
it's
Nothing wrong with that.
it's constantly running in the back end.
Yes, exactly. Let's talk about like fatherhood a little bit and your legacy. So you became the author. Where did the Little Minds and Bigger Rhymes come from?
I had more time on my hands, I think. I had cut smoking Mary Jane for about 6 months, and sort of in that process of, not consuming as much, I had more time on my hands, believe it or not. And so
I do believe
that wasn't the reason why I, got creative like that. But yeah, I also love to just be creative in the sense of, and not bored with my creation. So, rapping is cool, but rapping all the time gets boring. So I'll switch it up musically. Sometimes I'm singing, sometimes I'm rapping, like, that kind of stuff. Sometimes I'm performing, sometimes I'm not recording. Sometimes I'm, throwing an event instead of performing on a stage. So I like to switch it up. And the same goes for this book. Like Little Ray in a Brighter Day was just like a story about, maybe a little bit about my life. And so it was easy to write, but also a way to be creative still and just change up, rapping all the time. And it's rhyming. Like I grew up on Dr. Seuss,
Yeah.
And so the book is on that vibe. So I'm still rapping, but it's not on a beat. It's switching it up. It's still being creative, and I'm putting it, to some images and great pictures and a great story to go with it. So that's been cool. And that process just kind of came from being tired maybe of like reading other people's books and wanting to be able to read, something that I could create for my kids, So that happened there. And then when you write one book, you can't just write one book. You got to write another, and so that's where The Adventures of Yo Dog came out. And so now I got those 2 books, and it's been cool. Like lately I've been getting orders from teachers from schools that want, loads of books for their classes. And so that's been happening and been pretty awesome to see, especially because I'm not even like pushing it like crazy. So it's clearly, getting around from the stuff that I was doing earlier in the year. And yeah, I got more books on the way. Like, that's just those 2. But the album that I dropped back in March, which is called Little Minds and Bigger Rhymes, has 10 songs on it. And my plan is to release a book for each song. And so that you can, scan the back of the book and it goes to a music video for that song. And, you got the book to read and all that, be a little interactive like that,
It's very cool. Yeah.
I got to go a little sidebar because we've talked before about the whole working in the school system, and we're working on that for you.
Yeah, I would love that.
In my class, it's a very audio and visual with some of our friends, right? And I put on one of your videos one day, and the kids freaking loved it. They were up like right up in front of the whiteboard, just because the colors and the just like the graphics and stuff for one, the music for another. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so great to hear. And I've had
amazing.
The blessings of being able to see how the music affects people. Even the book too. Like in person, I was at a early on center with my kids, and they have one of my books inside their library there. And, parents can borrow the books and stuff. And there was one child there with her mother, and the mother was reading the book. And, I didn't say anything at first. I'm just sitting, to the side watching her read it. And then I said, oh, that's, I wrote that, and she was like, oh my, I'm literally about to cry right now. Like this hits home, and it was just like, wow, to see a grown, adult about to cry over a kid's book is like, okay, there's clearly like a great message within this book. And
yeah,
people see that, which is cool to see,
Yeah, and you probably didn't expect that either, right? Like I didn't see it coming.
Yeah. But I've had a few moments where, it's really been cool to see the effect. Like I was at a book reading a few months ago at, I think it's called Beanbag Play Cafe, I want to say. Forgive me if I messed it up. I think that's what it is.
On Wellington or Richmond?
Yeah. And so I was doing a reading there, and as I'm, waiting about 5-10 minutes before it's my time to do the reading, I have my banner up for Little Ray, and a child walks by and goes, "That's the book I've been reading." And then, so I say to the mom, like, "Oh, she's read the book before," and the mom still doesn't know that I wrote the book. And she said, "Oh yeah, we read it at the library where we're from, at an early on center," and it's like, whoa. It's cool, just it was almost a fly on the wall in that moment. And then I had to, become me again to soak it up, because it was really cool to see,
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's switch to Cranium. Like, so how it became like an idea to an institution sort of thing. Like, Take us back to 2019 when you co-founded this project. What problem were you trying to solve?
Yeah, well, I lucked out, to be sort of brought into the idea. So it wasn't necessarily my idea on creating it initially. That I'll give credit to Patrick McCormick and Michael Curtin, who, those two sort of brought me into the fold. And may have been Patrick that sort of brainchild it. I'm not even 100% certain on that, to be honest. But I was brought into the fold, initially in the beginning and sort of told about, this is what we want to create here. And we would love to have you on the team, given everything that you've done in the city. And I think we all share the same idea around the fact that there wasn't enough platforms in the city. There wasn't enough organizations like this to be able to help out the artists, especially emerging artists in the city. So we're all artists ourselves. I'm an artist. Patrick, used to dabble in it. He says he doesn't anymore, but he's still got bars. He's from the Crew Boogaloo tribe back in the day. And then Michael Curtin is an MC as well. So all three of us, are musicians at heart and artists at heart. And so we really want to see what should be here in the city that we never had, it's about creating that platform. So yeah, Cranium started essentially 2019. We're going into our eighth year of programming with the festival coming up. And it's just been exciting. It's been a huge, we started, I'll say off bat, we started off sort of the year before COVID kicked in, and so it could have really sank the ship at the time if we had let COVID sort of destroy what we were building with Cranium, because we had our first year, in 2019, and then 2020, COVID was pretty relevant, and things were getting shut down and venues were getting shut down. And, how do you survive as a festival, right? And we went through a lot of online programming and pivoted, to doing that, where, no shade to any other festivals, but most other festivals shut down, during COVID, whereas we kept it running. Just switched up the idea of what we had started in that first year. That was a great thing to do, because if we hadn't have done that, we probably wouldn't be still doing what we're doing with Cranium. We would have probably had to, either come back 3 years later or 3 years later when things were better. But instead we kept going and stood the time and, fought the war and kept the shows happening, but being creative just online for a few years. And then now we're going into our 8th year. We've got the conference and showcase that happens usually in May every year. We got the Recognize Awards, which typically was happening like December of every year, but we've decided to start that in March of every year now. And then we got the festival that happens in September. So, all of those 3 core programs that happen throughout the year is really what Cranium is all about. And then aside from that, we like to dabble in, after parties, and you might see our support on events and local events in the city as well.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Did you ever imagine it becoming what it is today back in 2019?
Yeah, 100%. We envisioned that from the beginning, knowing where we want to go with it and knowing what's needed in the city. So yeah, definitely never thought like, oh, we're going to have, artists like Talib Kweli coming to the festival, which is like
huge,
mind-blowing, huge, right? So yeah, that's been cool to have those things. And we talked about it offline, the fact that like Dax is going to be at History, the new venue that opened up in Ottawa. And, we've had Dax on the Cranium stage before. We've had artists like Belly who, it's cool because Belly is one of those artists that when I started, selling CDs back in the day, he was one of the artists out on the streets too, selling CDs. And to be able to years later, be part of the reason he's making a big bag, it's really supporting what we're doing here,
Yeah. Amazing. What, the 2026 Cranium Conference and Showcase was at the NAC. How significant was it getting it in the NAC? Did you find that that's kind of the important spot?
Yeah, and there's definitely been other people that have had hip hop in the NAC, but nobody did it like we did it. And so to be able to sort of be the first, I don't know if I want to say organization, hip hop branded organization within the NAC, a Black festival, in the NAC, conference and showcase in the NAC, like to be able to have all of that, I think is telling to the times that we're in. Like now it's 2026, that kind of stuff can be happening. Not that the NAC's ever been, like that, but times, change where it's like people really frown upon hip hop, and sort of have hip hop inside of in a place like the NAC that's so prestigious, right? Was great for the city, and then others have followed suit since. So that's been cool to see. Yeah, that happened too, just from networking, which is, I always say, is like so important for people to do. It's just, if you're in a room with somebody, just say hi. It doesn't hurt. Introduce yourself. And I did that and met some amazing people from NAC, and we've been able to continue, a great relationship with the NAC since. And I think it's been 4 years now, going on 5 years for the next one that we've been inside the NAC. So it's been great.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking, with the new venues opening up, are you going to maybe explore going somewhere else, or are you going to stick with the NAC? Because you've got history now and you've got the Hard Rock. So those are two different venues that you could definitely use.
Yeah. I mean, the NAC is all of these venues are great, and it's dope to have so many venues within the city for musicians to be able to perform on, especially on big stages like that. But I think, what we have going with the NAC currently is a great situation. It's a great location, and no reason to switch it if it ain't broken, or fix it if it ain't broken. And but I would love to, I know myself, I'm not speaking on behalf of Cranium, I would love to explore, being able to do stuff within Hard Rock and in history, and just taking advantage of the great venues in the city, even as an artist myself.
Yeah, for sure. And do you find this is going to help the infrastructure? Like, because Ottawa does lose talented artists to Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver. Do you think that infrastructure in Ottawa now being built is going to help us? Yeah,
I think maybe it's more the Live Nation aspect to it that's, maybe going to help, because I think we've had great venues in the city and no reason for artists to skip the city ever. So I think it's just, the people booking those artists, maybe through Live Nation, they'll bring some great hip hop acts through the city, which can definitely make a difference in that sense. But, even if it's not a hip hop artist, like, I just love music in general. So to be able to have a bit, a notable venue, right, that's like recognized pretty much globally, I would say, is dope to have that in our city. Like, those are things that you'd never think would happen, back in the day. So it's cool to see. How do you feel about it as, industry professionals?
I like it a lot. I just really, like, we talked about it a lot, but I would also like to make sure that local artists get a shot at something there as an opener or whatever, right? Like, as opposed to just, like, it's great to bring in great acts, and that's important, but because of our podcast and our platform is more like, let's promote local artists from Ottawa and then make it kind of world, like, try and spend it, like, get it out there, right? But so essentially, I just would like to see that they incorporate that in some way. And I understand that to fill a room with 2,500 people or whatever the history is, we couldn't figure it out last night. It was like $2,000 between 2,000 and 2,500 people. Local artists can't charge, $100 a ticket to make sure that the venue gets paid, right? So
right.
I don't know how they're going to incorporate it, but yes, I think it's cool for sure. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to see how that works for artists. I agree that opening spot on every big show, for a local artist is a great way to support the community. But numbers talk, so
they got to make that. They got to make that money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, doggy.
Yeah. What's the one mistake you see young artists making constantly?
Not learning from your past, not learning, researching your past, not taking the time to learn the business, I think, is another big thing. And I'm speaking from experience, so for myself, I didn't learn. I didn't know about the opportunities that were around, like conferences and showcases, when I was younger, to be able to go and sit down and listen to a panel from industry professionals talking about their career and how you can take gems from those things and use them for your own career, right? Like, so as I've gotten older and started attending conferences, I always used to say to myself, like, how did I not know about this stuff 10, 15 years ago, But I'm glad I'm able to still soak in that knowledge. So yeah, I think people not learning is a problem for sure, especially the younger generation and even the older generation. I think, like, if you're in this business, you need to learn everything about the business, and I'm still learning every day. But taking advantage of it and passing it on is important for me,
Yeah. That's very good advice. What like, say someone comes to you and they're super passionate about music, but they're younger and they're not ready yet. How do you handle that?
What would I say to 16-year-old me,
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. I know, as cliche as that sounds, my first song was horrible. I mean, maybe it was great to some, probably better than most, but it was horrible compared to what I do now. So just continue going. You know, I've had artists play me music and they're like, you're not quite ready yet. You know, I see something and I tell them like, you know, my first song wasn't great and now look what I do, you know? And it's like, yeah, so just keep going. Like, don't give up just because somebody doesn't like your music, you know, because I've been told a few times that I suck. So, you know, keep it going.
Yeah. Steel sharpens steel, buddy.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So what part of Cranium? Yeah, what part of Cranium has grown faster than you expected?
It's a good question. Our team, maybe. Yeah, our team keeps growing, which is cool to see. And just the amount of artists that we have, you know, it's not necessarily part of Cranium, but the amount of artists that we have in the city now is expanding. You know, years ago there was only like maybe a handful of artists that we could say would be good, dope enough or good enough to perform on a Cranium stage, and now the ecosystem of artists, you know, the community of artists that we have here in the city is just growing every year. And so there's a lot of talent now, more talent to choose from, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a good position to be in.
Yeah. You must feel that way too, even with your podcast and like 100%. The interviews and stuff that you do, right? Like
it's
you
wild.
Probably could have only named a few artists years ago, but now you're like, oh man, how do we keep up?
It's true, but you know what happened and you mentioned how you kind of kept on it, right? But the fact that we've been consistent every week, I think people are obviously listening or watching, but they're sending us messages now, right? And we're able to cultivate, like you said, by networking, which I'm excellent at, and you just basically build, you know, relationships with, say, you got us with Goldstripe and King Osiris, and, you know, we're going to speak to Taz, and that's all because of you, right? Because our relationship with you.
I mean, it's because of you, you know, you just happen to network and be in the right place, right?
It's true. But however, our relationship with you and you being a very good friend of the show, that helps, right? Like that does give us a bit of street cred in that sense, but it's also, you know, other artists that have come through, like we have metal bands that come on. We have, you know, like it's, and then Dawg and I talk about all the time, Ottawa has just like endless pool of artists that we can speak to, which is amazing. But we, like you said, we had no idea when we started 5 years ago that we would be able to talk to people every week. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
yeah. So awesome. I have an off the wall question that I didn't get to ask you. I've asked a few people this. Okay. And it's a fun question. So the three of us just robbed a bank. Okay.
Oh, Dawg,
Dawg,
So this is how you got street cred. Okay.
Yeah. That's it. Hey, I'm from Caldwell. Don't worry. There's some
yeah. What's up?
So we get in the car and we put a CD in. What song's playing when we drive over?
Jeez, I don't know. My volume's probably down because I hate jumping in the car and turning on my car and my radio blast. So I always have the volume.
You also
down
didn't
low.
rob a bank, Jay. So just play along.
But I didn't rob the bank. Okay, my bad. Jeez, what song is playing? Why didn't you tell me you were going to ask me this? Probably my own music. Yeah. And it's probably going to be a song like Contemplation, you know, because I'm now contemplating if I should have been robbing this bank with you.
Yeah, Gus was a bad influence, you know, like, yeah.
I don't know that you want to rob a bank with me.
Yeah, but if you had control of the music in the car, what would the song be for you?
Yeah, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Well, I have a few options. I mean, I feel like I would probably put some Nas on, you know, or maybe.
This is your perfect time to say Jay Morris too, you know? Just
seriously.
Or some other artists that I know. Yeah. Some other Ottawa-based artists that I know that might be. Awesome. I would put some Jay Morris on for sure. Why not?
Sure, right? You'd have to have some in it. Yeah. We just robbed a bank together. Better have my song.
True. Yeah, I'm going to put my boy's song on. Yeah, let's listen to our podcast, actually. Let's just put that on. Nothing like talk radio when you're trying to get away.
That's what I should have answered with. What do you mean? I have Dawg and Gus on. Let's go.
At all times. At all times. Available everywhere, by the way.
Yeah. Available everywhere, by the way.
Let's go.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we just talked about curating artists. What makes you say yes to an artist?
Well, the great thing is for Cranium specifically, and maybe I could answer differently for other things that I do, but for Cranium, we have a music committee, so we don't have to say yes necessarily. You know, we let the committee do the choosing. Of course, we get to see what's happening, but I think what's important in getting booked at the festival is you have, you know, a team is always great to see, especially for our conference and showcase, to know that like you're export ready. Having things like an EPK, proper links to a performance video, you know, great quality, great sound, you know, all your socials are on point. Your bios, you know, maybe there if you don't have an EPK, like whatever the case is, everything is sort of there and filled out on our application form. There's no like clicking on something and I have to ask permission to check your music file that you sent for us to check out. Things like that usually get pushed to the side. So yeah, great talent obviously is part of that, because all of those things can be there, but if your music isn't great, you're not going to get on the stage, So yeah, I think just having the full package and you're ready to go is what we like to see. And then as far as other things that I'm doing, like this Live Accelerator program that I'm running or just finished running, I'll be running it again in January. For those artists, I'd love to see that, they've been putting in some work in the scene for a little bit. They're emerging. They're, got their stuff together. They may not have everything, because that's the point of going through the program, is to sort of come out on the other end as a more developed artist, but just showing them that they have the skill and the talent to even do what they do too.
Nice. That's a good answer. Are you trying to make Cranium an Ottawa institution, a Canadian institution, or eventually an internationally recognized organization that happens to be based in Ottawa?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I'm speaking again for myself, but I know as a team, we would love, for it to be sort of a worldwide thing, but it's always about supporting, the artists here in Ottawa to getting out to the world, and to also, just create that platform, that stage for these artists to really be able to blow up from here in the city too. So yeah, but I think world domination is where it's at, to be recognized around the world as one of the greatest festivals, I think is definitely something that we're striving for sure.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, he's put it out there. So it's on the wall now. So
yeah.
He's a manifester just like you are. So it's going to happen.
Yeah. That's why we get along.
Right?
Sorry, it would be nice if there were, and we get artists applying from all over the world now, but when it's coming in the thousands and there's artists applying from every corner of the world, I think it's like, oh, that'd be great. Not that we can book them all, but just the fact that the reach is there helps out the artists as well.
For sure. Yeah, I love that.
You referenced that you're going to Scotland later on. You're going to Scotland.
Going to Scotland to see all this.
Yeah.
About?
Well, did you know that I have Scottish in my bloodline?
I didn't.
Well, now you know.
How's your accent? Can you do it?
Scottish.
That's all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
That's it. I might learn a little bit more after going to Scotland.
Oh yeah, you'll come back speaking language.
Yeah. That's like when I went to Jamaica. I came back from Jamaica. I was like, I know all the patois in the world. Now it's gone, but
that's right.
For a while I was like, yeah, man, everywhere I went.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, so the Scotland trip came about September 1st to September 6th. I'm out there. So I have a performance happening at Pitch Festival, which is a great organization similar to Cranium, but on the the other side of the world. And it's funny because we met the organizers from Pitch. We met at another conference, I think it was out east, Nova Scotia or something like that. Just randomly sitting in a room, I'm at one table. One of the other organizers was at another table, and we're like, the loan sharks in the back of the room. And then we're like, oh, what are you here for? Start to network, because it's important to do, right? Network everywhere you go. Yeah. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm here, representing for Cranium. Oh, I'm here representing for Pitch. What do? You do that too? Well, we're literally doing the same thing, just on the other side of the, the pond. And so it's cool to see that there's other organizations like that around the world and connect, and so that opportunity sort of comes from just building with Pitch, and I was going out there already to be part of their conference and festival that's coming up September 2nd to 6th, I believe. And then they know I perform as an artist too. So I got the booking to perform while I'm there. And then also shooting barcode episodes out there, which are part of Cranium, another thing that we do with Cranium, and with an organization called Up to Standard from the UK. So yeah, so we'll just be building and building,
It's amazing. So would you say it's like, obviously I know the answer to this, but it's not a Jay Morris tour. It's more like a Cranium mission as well. It's like both. Are they inseparable?
It's all like mixed together. I'm performing as Jay Morris. I'm hosting Barcode as Cranium, but as the host Jay Morris. And there's a delegate as Justin Gunderson, the music director from Cranium. So yeah, a little bit of everything. And then while I'm there, taking advantage of being able to do some, I don't know if you've seen some of the Rapping Food Critics stuff that I do. If not, you need to check it out. But the Rapping Food Critics, so I'm, going to do some food reviews out there in Scotland while I'm out there, and get my books out there.
Yeah, I was going to say you can definitely have to push the books as well.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it was great. When I went to New York recently at the end of July, a little bit at the beginning of August. It was a mission to perform. There wasn't any Cranium related stuff, but even while I'm out there, I'm promoting Cranium and got my books out there, which is really great. So it's like, now I know I have books in some schools in New York, and I have some, books in schools in Ottawa, and I get some books in schools in Scotland. I'm doing a great job.
Yep.
Gonna keep it going, Yeah.
Yes, sir. Do you think that European audiences are more receptive to Canadian hip hop than people might assume?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I think you get a lot more love when you're not from the area you're from, And so like, I've been making music in this city since I was 16, right? And I feel like everybody in this city just knows, not everybody, but like the people that are really in this scene and sort of if you want to call them the gatekeepers of, the performances or whatever in this city, like they've seen me, performing since I was 16 years old, and I haven't, blown up worldwide. So it's just that other guy from the city that happens to rap, as opposed to people looking at me like the star that I actually am, And so there's, pockets of it here in the city, I'm not going to say I don't get that type of love here, but I definitely get more love from outside of my own city. And I think that's just how it is for people's mentalities. Like, until the rest of the world loves you, everybody's just like, oh, that's the guy that I know from back in the day. But once, everybody around the world loves you, they're like, oh, that's the guy that I used to go to school with, who's like, I used to be best friends with,
Yeah.
Yeah. I supported him his whole career, but they never been to a show,
Yeah, fair. Do you feel like, and this is kind of my thought about it, but territorially, like, isn't hip hop like territorial? Because in Ottawa, I know that you're kind of changing that narrative, right? Like, where you're kind of making it more of an inclusive space, whereas hip hop traditionally is kind of battling, right, and a little bit more territorial. But do you feel that that's kind of dissipating, or what do you think?
I don't know if I would say territorial. I would say more like competitive.
Yeah.
And so I think there is that, I'm better than you, I'm going to do all this before you. But I think when we work together, that's when things are better for the community, for the music industry. And that goes for like everything, like not just me as an artist working with another artist, but even Cranium as an organization working with other organizations, right? Like, it just makes a better impact when you work together versus you trying to fight this by yourself,
Agreed.
So I think there's a competitive nature in hip hop in general, but I think it's great if you can build with other artists in the city and work together to sort of go down this same path that everybody's trying to go down to, and there's a lot of groups that have been successful with, like, they have one artist sort of as like their main artist, right? And that artist blows up, and then everybody else in that collective gets an opportunity to shine too, right? And I don't think we necessarily have that here yet in Ottawa, where there's artists working together like that, unfortunately.
That's good. That's a good answer, because that's true.
It is. And we're hoping that'll happen at some point. When you're overseas and you say that you're from Ottawa, Canada, what's the response that you're getting? What is the response you hope you're going to get?
Yeah, just that I gained some new fans, for sure. Represent Ottawa to the fullest. Like, that's always important everywhere I go, to let people know where I'm coming from. I've never been one to run away and be like, I'm not from Ottawa. I've always felt like Ottawa should be, a lot bigger than it is. And in terms of like the artists that are representing the city, and just the love that they're getting around the world, because we definitely have talented artists that are, global artists, that they just still haven't made it out here, out of Ottawa yet. So just representing the city, and hoping that I can shine some light, not only on what I do, but on the fact that there's other artists here in the city too,
All right. So 16-year-old Jay Morris just gets told one day the music you started making in Ottawa is going to take you across to Europe. What does he think?
Damn right.
Well
I've always believed that I'd make it, to the bigger stages around the world, and I've always envisioned, huge audiences, singing back my hooks and my choruses, and I've made it happen on smaller stages, but to do it on a worldwide stage, something I've always envisioned. And, not saying Pitch Festival is the biggest stage in the world, but to be able to leave from, where I'm from and go represent in another part of the world because of music, get paid to do it, not have to take money out of my own pocket to make it happen. I think I'm doing a great job in what I've been hoping for all these years, and it's coming to fruition now,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little Ottawa hip hop, Jay. Aside from yourself, who is the Ottawa artist right now that everybody should be paying attention to?
It's a good question. I mean, there's a few. So, I mean, I'll give you a couple of names for sure. I think Samora is a great artist. I don't know if you had a chance to come across Samora yet. She performed at Cranium on the conference and showcase stages. Samora is definitely a very talented artist. Talia Audi is another great artist in the city. So many as well. I'm just sort of going off the top right now. Aspects, of course, another great artist in the city. Checo 7, another great artist in the city. Yeah, so many dope artists. But those are some of the names that sort of pop off, off top.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay. Who has improved the most since we talked in 2024?
Who's improved the most? Jeez, these are good questions.
We get deep at the end.
Yeah.
Who's improved the most? That's a good. I might have to circle back. I don't want to say that they weren't good before, so.
No, it's just improvement. Just improvement.
Yeah, just improvement. Aspect's daughter, Aaliyah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. She's, I just watched her perform the other day, and she did a whole set all by herself. And typically she's performing with her dad. So I'm going to give it to the young up-and-coming star.
Nice.
Aaliyah Rose.
Like it.
Nice. What's happening in the Ottawa hip hop scene right now that people outside the city don't understand?
That it's not enough of a support system here yet for the artists in the city to get out, And I think maybe people from the outside, if they are seeing their favorite artists from this area, aren't realizing how hard it is to really get out of here as a musician,
Makes sense. Do you think Ottawa has its own identifiable sound?
Not yet.
No?
Not yet. No. I haven't gone worldwide yet.
Yeah, he's coming.
One day. No, I think
soon.
I think it's similar to Toronto, how there's like a mix of, it's like a melting pot of so many different styles because there's so many different cultures here, So I don't know necessarily that we have an Ottawa sound, but there is a sound that's, sort of similar to some of the Toronto sounds coming out for sure. But I don't think Ottawa has its own identity for music yet.
Fair enough.
All right. So who are 3 artists from Ottawa that you put on a plane tomorrow and showcase internationally?
Well, we know one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but it's because it's not always about me.
Well,
let's go. We'll go. I mean, it is, but
on this,
I'll come out as a feature on one of the sets. Yeah. After, and I'm maybe name dropping some of the same names that I mentioned, but
that's
well
fine.
Deserving. So I think Samora again is one of those artists that I would see on a huge stage. City Fidelia for sure out there as well, and then I'm gonna switch it up and add. Let me see here. There's so many dope artists. I'm gonna mention Nambi. Shout out to Nambi. I think Nambi would be one of those artists that could. She's up there with the Lauryn Hills, of this world.
That's a big comparison. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rapid fire time. Favorite Ottawa rapper ever?
Myself.
Attaboy.
Favorite. And continuing on.
I can say somebody else if you want, but just being real. Just being real.
As we go on, if it's just Jay Morris every answer, then we can't,
Well, we'll see.
What's going on?
It's your hour, bro.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if it continues.
I'll say a name and then we can just put up a logo of my logo every time I say a name. Yeah.
Jay Morris. Favorite Canadian rapper ever.
Favorite Canadian rapper ever. I'm not going to say my favorite because I really have a list of favorites and I don't think it's fair to just say one, but I'm going to name an artist that's definitely been very inspiring to me as an artist and just being independent and being able to make a living off this, and that's Classified.
Nice. Love Classified. Most underrated Ottawa artist.
Underrated Ottawa artist. DL Incognito.
Nice.
Best live performance you've seen recently. Performer, sorry, not performance.
Could be either.
Yep.
Yeah. My daughter, Amina.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I was at an open mic recently at Redbird. Happens with Capital Syndicate once a month there. And I had my daughter there. She wanted to come out with me that night, and she sings, but she's pretty shy. But she went up on stage and sang Fallen by Alicia Keys with support from Talia Audi that night. And it was a monumental moment. I got a video recorded, almost shed a tear, and that was great to see. So that happened recently, actually. So
it's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dream collaboration.
This
is rapid fire too, Jay.
Method Man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hot nickels. I like that.
Yeah. Method Man. Yeah.
Your favorite song? Favorite Jay Morris song?
Yeah. It's all about me again. Favorite song.
Your favorite song of you that you've done?
Oh, for me,
Yeah.
every song.
There you go.
Every song is my favorite. That's my answer. Every song.
I'm not asking the next one.
Yeah.
It's like this guy's full of himself.
Yeah. What? Yeah. No. What's a better feeling, finishing a great verse or watching a young artist crush at Cranium stage?
Oh, wow. That's tough. But I think I'm going to have to go with the verse. The verse. Yeah. Creating a new verse and knowing that it's like one of the best verses ever in the world. And I sometimes have conversations with God after. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for helping me write that, you know?
Sick.
So I think those moments are special. But definitely is very special seeing artists kill it on the Cranium stage too.
Hey, now here's a tough one. Ottawa or Toronto?
Ottawa.
Studio or stage?
Stage.
Europe or Canada?
Canada.
Artist or promoter?
Artist.
One artist you'd pay anything to book for Cranium.
Jeez.
METHOD, man.
It's literally the name that popped in my head. I'm just going to roll with that. Yeah, let's go with Method Man.
Why not?
Or Wu-Tang, the whole Wu-Tang. So
That would be pretty dope. Yeah.
Gus would have absolutely no problem with that.
What
Zero.
Did you go or did I go?
It's your turn.
One country you haven't performed in that you need to.
Jamaica.
Irie.
A bumbleclad. How about we
Oh,
throw
no.
I want to
All my best friends growing up were Jamaican. So
That's
it's like,
it.
we're the pretty white boy.
Yeah.
That's what my
pretty white,
the mom would say.
white boy.
They call me Red Man when I go to Jamaica. So, yeah.
One word to describe Ottawa hip hop in 2026.
Monumental.
Nice.
Very good. So last time we joked about having another interview in 5 or 10 years, and we barely made it 2. So that's good. We're in good shape. So we'll keep in touch, right?
Yeah, we still have another interview in 5 years from the time that we said it the last time, but we might have a couple.
Very good. I like that.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cranium, obviously in Europe coming up. Do some plugging. Do your website, new music coming. Tell us some stuff that's going on, and then we'll shut her down.
Yeah. So as far as some of the other endeavors that I'm involved with, Cranium Festival happening September 9th to 13th. We got day 1 happening at Redbird. Show starts about 8 p.m. in the evening with Shay Nu, G, Faisal, and Capital Syndicate. Plus Circa Beats on the 1s and 2s, hosted by Nico from Zoo Legacy. So that's day 1. I'm not going to give you every artist every day because there's a lot more every other day. But day 2 is going to be inside the Bronson with Talib Kweli and some dope great artists on that lineup. Day 3, we are going to be inside Club Saw. Day 4 is going to be at Ogilvy Square, which is just on Rideau Street between Joey's in that pathway there.
Nice.
And then day 5, we have Ogilvy Square again with a collaboration with House of Paint and Flavor Factory there, I believe. And then on the evening part of that day, we have Barcode happening here in Ottawa. So that's Cranium related stuff. I'm also partaking in Capital Music Week and helping out there. So that's happening October 2nd to 10th. For either of these organizations, if you want to volunteer, just go on their websites. So craniumfestival.com and ottawamike.com and volunteer and get involved. And then, as far as myself goes, we talked about the performance coming up in Scotland. My books, just keep pushing those and keep getting that out there. Got some more rap and food critic stuff dropping. And I have a whole lot of content dropping from my New York trip and all the greatness that happened there. So much stuff on the way.
Because he's not busy at all.
Yeah, he's a parent.
Yeah. Apparently. Yeah.
Will you do a Dawg and Gus intro hip hop for our podcast to be this first thing that plays before we do the show?
100%. Yeah. And I think I would put in a line like, it's true. I'm blessed with the bars, so in God we trust. But the best podcast, that's
Dawg and Gus.
Oh, look at that! You finished the rhyme. Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you set it up so nicely.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Knocked it out of the pack.
Oh yeah.
That's the intro to the intro.
That's what. Oh my God, we got to.
Yes.
I like.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Save that because I don't know what I said. So
yeah. We got it. We got to record it.
It's
so
recorded.
We're good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you again, man. Good luck in all your endeavors. This will be out on Monday, so we'll get it out right away before you go to Scotland. But have a great trip, and we always love chopping it up with you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all, and keep doing what you're doing, and I look forward to Dawg and Gus going worldwide too.
Worldwide,
Mr. Worldwide.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Dawg and Gus, Dawg and Gus, Dawg and Gus.